So today we're here with Roger and Nat Marsden, who farm at Halsteads Farm in and around West Bradford and Waddington. Thank you both for joining me today on this typical February morning here in Lancashire. Do you want to start by giving an introduction to the farm, what you farm here, who you farm with?
Right, yeah, so we farm in partnership, me and my brother, with two families, and then my mum and dad, all involved with the farm. We run about 50 head of ling cattle and take all the progeny up to finishing, and then we run about 500 ewes, and in the past we've been finishing all the lambs as well.
So Nat, do you want to explain a bit about how you've had that shift from your conventional farming practices to the more regenerative farming practices?
Yeah, well, BPS was coming to an end, input costs were rising. We just thought as a business we relied heavily on that subsidy, and we probably didn't really agree with just our ethos on farming and the environment. So I heard of a guy called Greg Judy, followed him on YouTube, got into lots of other regenerative sort of gurus, and it all added up in my head really, and financially as well. So we sort of transitioning the farm into more regenerative way of farming. Firstly by the stock really, having the right stock for the environment, just keeping costs right down and going for a more extensive outdoor low input system. And
how challenging or scary was that change, or open to it?
It took a lot of thinking about, and then to do what we wanted to do, it's all about being able to move the cattle frequently and the stock frequently, and also wherever you move them to, always have that water supply. So we set about sort of fencing the farm off really, and putting in a water system so we can move the stock, graze the ground, but then give plenty of recovery period to allow the grasses to recover.
Right. And so from the FIPL funding perspective, how has that helped in the process?
So electric fencing, we've got a main fencer around the farm, and basically putting lots of laneways so we can basically move the stock wherever we want to. And then water, we've got a natural spring supply, and basically we can put a mobile trough, I'd say to maybe 550 acres of ground, so we can basically put water wherever we want really, and that's key. Water and electric.
Getting that
fencing,
set up first,
or not always electric, but being able to fence off your stock accordingly.
So as well as the infrastructure that you've received funding for through FIPL, how has the Pasture for Life FIPL funded project helped you?
Right, yeah, so we got involved with that a couple of years ago, and basically they set up a sort of mentee-mentor project so that we could follow guys who were already sort of a bit down the route of regenerative farming, and from that you gain a lot of valuable knowledge, and then from there you've got a group of you who are sort of going down the same route, because it's quite a mindset change really, and I think it's good to have that support to sort of help you on your way. And then over time we got to a point where we'd made a few changes, we were happy with what we were doing, and then as part of the project we actually became mentors, and we've had a few visits on the farm to sort of show what we're doing and what we're trying to do in the future.
That's great. I think that's really interesting how you've progressed from the mentee at the start of that project to now both being mentors, showing that progression.
That's good.
So what other improvements have you noticed through this shift into regenerative farming practice?
Right, yeah, so quite a few things really, and they don't all happen straight away, you know, it does take time, but straight away on some of the ground we were seeing that by resting the pastures and giving them plenty of rest and recovery, we were growing a lot more grass, but also lots of variation, so a lot of variety, so helping sort of biodiversity. So that's been a big change, I think, and I think as time goes on we'll see more and more of that. The other positive things, certainly from probably the bank balance, the inputs are just a lot less now, and all right, our production may have dropped back a little bit, But overall, I think it's looking very positive for the future.
And when did you start this regenerative farming?
Well,
method?
we've probably not started with the idea probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
But we only initially it was just a bit of a dabble. We didn't really. But then I think over the years, last year or two, really got the sort of mindset change and thought actually, yeah, this is the way we want to go. So the last couple of years we've sort of pushed it quite hard. Yeah.
And in terms of the cattle behind us, do you want to just explain a bit about what you're aiming to do here with the bales out and grazing?
Right, yeah, so these Lynn cattle are out here, and they're actually part of a project to try and sort of help manage or reduce bracken on the fell. So here we're out wintering them, we're bale grazing, and we're trying to do that on the bracken beds such that we're laying carbon down from the hay that's wasted, we're putting seed down onto the soils, and we're also having a sort of a positive impact on the ground, so hopefully we'll reduce the bracken and then end up with perhaps a more diverse sort of pasture for them over the long term.
And that's using no mechanical or
no mechanics, no sprays, so that's all good in my
really
book.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those farmers who are thinking about moving to this more regenerative agriculture approach or are not quite sure where to start, what would you say to those?
I'd say get in touch with people who are doing it. There's quite a few who have shown interest through our own mentees and the wider local sort of group of farmers. It is a mindset change. It won't happen overnight. But by reducing inputs, sometimes the less is more phrase comes to mind, because the inputs are so much less, it makes the business kind of more resilient, and it will become more of the mainstream, I think, in time. But it's just getting away from that conventional mindset and perhaps going back to how things perhaps were done pre-World War II.
So following on from that, what have been some of the challenges in moving? Or
I think the challenge has been probably we had sort of breeds of sheep and cattle which were quite input heavy. So we're transitioning the sheep flock at the moment to a more maternal sort of easy management, less input type breed. And obviously the Lings, they lend themselves perfectly to it in that they're hardy, native breed, but yet still commercial. So we can fatten the Ling young stock on grass, no inputs, and we're getting an R4L carcass, good weights, a very marketable commercial animal at the end of it without any input. So it's a win-win in our book.
well, thank you so much to both of you for speaking to us today. It's been really interesting finding out about your farming practices here. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Okay.
There we go, thanks.